I love to talk, film, discuss, critique.
What is up? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Blood Splatter Chatter here with my brother Stu and the Missing Link on a Wednesday at 12:30 Central Time to talk Final Destination 1 and 2, which we've been talking about doing like forever and a day. But I figured a very timely time to finally do this as the new one just came out, as we were just talking backstage. The newest one since 2011, the 6th installment. And honestly, to me, shockingly good reviews. I don't know if you guys have looked at it. 92% on Rotten Tomato on 162 reviews and a 7.1 on IMDb for a Final Destination movie. That's crazy, in my opinion. That's fucking
it might be the highest rated.
It's got to be
Final Destination movie, because even the first two, as memorable and iconic as they are, not really critical darlings. They're
the
divided.
First one, to make your point or to add to your point, 44% on Rotten Tomato, a respectable 6.7 on IMDb, and then Final Destination 2, a little bit better actually on Rotten Tomato, worse on IMDb, 52 Rotten Tomato, 6.2 IMDb. But yeah, stoked to be finally talking about these. These are movies I'm really having a hard time remembering, like how I felt about them when they came out. Like I know I liked them, I know I checked them out, I know I watched them a bunch of times. Got to recap, my brother. What's happening? I definitely remember that. I remember, if I think about this franchise, Final Destination, instantly I think about the opening scene for part 2. And then when I recently watched part 1, I was like, fuck, I don't really remember this one that well. Although I think it might be, teaser, spoiler, might be the better movie. But as I said, we're going to do part 1 and part 2. I don't know what to make of these movies. Like, as far as like, they're so a part of their time. You know what I mean? They're so 2000s, but it's interesting. As you guys know, I like to do, like, look at like the evolution specifically of the slasher genre. And after in the 90s, all we had was really Scream and the Scream knockoffs. And then this is what this and Saw are what the slasher evolved into in the early 2000s. This is pretty much, and originally there was going to be a physical character like Death. It was going to be like an iconic horror villain, and it was originally written for an X-Files episode. The script was based off the original concept for an X-Files episode. What up, 9-Panel Grid, my brother? Appreciate you popping in. You guys, make sure you guys are subbed up to 9-Panel if you're into comics, and Johnny Recap if you're into horror. And it's funny to see. It's just like these extravagant kill scenes, Rube Goldberg style, very unique take on it. It's all about the suspense, all about the build-up. And I think it's really cool to look at it in that perspective, thinking of it as a 2000 slasher movie, where people were kind of burnt out on the Scream knockoffs, kind of burnt out on the supernatural Freddy Jason type stuff. And this is what we got. This and Saw was what it turned into. But
it's crazy. Like the dichotomy between that was either like steeped, like Saw, I want to say steeped in realism, but he's a little bit more grounded than unless to an extent they're both. I was gonna say something like Scream, but they were both going an extra mile to make be theatrical with their kills,
right?
Ghostface and Saw. But then you got the complete opposite side of the spectrum where it's like just the unexplainable, And it's interesting that you say they almost had a character and embodiment of Death in this, because I can see that, because Death almost feels like a character in this movie. We'll get to the second one, but that's something I think the second one lacked, where it's like Death didn't really feel as much of a character, even though they were trying to build off the mythos. We'll get to that, but no, I could see that. Death felt like a character, even though you never saw or heard from them in this movie.
You kind of see like a shadow of him and whatnot. The guy that came up with the concept, the original fellow whose name I had up until like 2 moments ago. That's one of his big regrets. Jeffrey Reddick was the guy that came up with the story. He's not the one that directed the first one. I had it just a second ago. Oh, James Wong, not to be confused with the much more successful James Wan. But
Oh,
anyway, that was one of his big regrets because he thought like he missed out on a lot of money from being able to sell
making it
toys and all that. There is not, Final Destination merchandise if it exists. You don't see a whole hell of a lot of it for sure. But Brother Stu, my man, who's finally back, he had some camera issues, or not some camera issues. You had some fucking all sorts of issues as of late, but you're back. You've survived it all. And what up, man? You're muted right now. I can't unmute you myself. It's telling me. But what's your history? Do you remember like how you felt about the first one specifically, and then how was the rewatch?
Yeah, it was rewatch is always fun for these. Always a joy to go back and revisit these. But yeah, this was a huge movie for me, and much like Scream, of that time period, it was just it was monumental. It was shocking. So many moments from it are take you back to that time and that era and how you felt first experiencing these. So it was a joy to revisit. I'm glad we just kept it to these two because I haven't gone outside these two, and I haven't heard good things about 3 and 4, and I heard it gets kind of mired, but yeah, man, it's just it's such an awesome franchise. It's such a great concept. Kind of capturing the inevitability of death and the finality of it. And yeah, like Lynn said, I love the embodiment of that and this movie, and kind of speaking through Tony Todd,
Right.
with those cameos as well. So yeah, it's just it's such a joy to revisit. Some of these kills are just so much care put into them visually, and
Right.
how they pulled them off. So it's awesome to see.
It's so like unique. It really always stands out to me among horror movies as being something really, really creative, but like it's kind of soft too. It's kind of more. It feels more like a '90s movie
it's
where it's a little bit
yeah.
soft on the blood and the gore compared to Saw, being where they went the opposite route of it. It's cool to think of. There's two franchises where there isn't the iconic killer. I mean, there is with Saw, but not really. It's not him there. There's more of these.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Rube Goldberg-esque type thing in the Saw franchise too.
Would you say, because Jigsaw, even though he's not the doll that's become the icon for the movie, the what do you want to call it, the spokesperson, but would you say Tony Todd is kind of like he's the most this most staple throughout this franchise, to be the most consistent?
Totally. But I forgot until recently that he was even part of the franchise. My wife, who just watched, she's like, "Oh, I fucking love these movies, blah blah blah," and we just watched them all a couple years ago. Kind of watched the first two, and then I was doing shit on the computer for the other three, and I just let them play. But she was like, "Oh my god, Candyman's in this?" I was like, "Yeah, we just watched." I don't know why it's so forgettable, but he's in the newest one, which is interesting.
That's what fucks me up, because I remember being geeked like that he was going to be. I was like, "Oh shit, Candyman's in the new." He's in the new one, and then it's like he was in the first two. And I completely forgot about that. Unfortunately, rest in peace.
Which I do think he's pretty cool, especially in the first one. Like he's got I don't know, just adds to the atmosphere. The first one I think it's not scary, but they actually do a pretty good job of having like a creepy atmosphere for the movie. It's such a strange tone, I think, to balance in these films, which is part of the reason why I'm so curious to see exactly how the newest one is handled, because they're silly and over the top, but there's like, it's kind of taken serious, but it's also like you'll laugh at the kills, and it's like a really delicate balance that I think the first one does best, with kind of being a little bit atmospheric, a little bit.
I feel it's with in terms of like the tones between the first two, the second one becomes more like, I guess, commercialized is the best way to put it. Where it's just like there's a mystery, they're trying to unfold something in the first one, and the second one they're trying to do that. It's like you're getting all this lore and shit, but it's to a degree, but it's just like it's just to lead to the next kill, Like in the first one, it doesn't really feel like they're just trying to get to the next kill. Like you're spending time with them. You also don't have a damn Sawa, how you ever say his name,
right? Sawa, pretty sure.
You're doing yourself a disservice with that. But real quick, you know who would do perfect for one of these? Osgood Perkins, the monkey.
Oh yeah,
fucking would do amazing in Final Destination.
He would. He might be at this point. He might be a little above going and doing Final Destination, but that is a great call. He would be, because it's got that funniness to it, the funny kills that you could lead into more. But what up, Six Deuce? He says 4 is the worst, which is what I've heard. I heard 4 is the worst. The guy that directed this one comes back and he does part 3, which is the roller coaster one. And then part 4 is somebody else that's supposed to be the worst one. That's what I've read too. And it's the catalyst for that one is at a racetrack where like something crazy happens at a racing event. And then part 5 is a bridge collapse, and it's a prequel that takes place before it. And that's actually something I've heard about the newest one, is that it kind of ties them all in, and it goes back to like the 60s or some event that happened in the 60s that has led to everything happening. Tiny spoiler, but I think that's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
How'd you feel about
Sorry.
How was the rewatch for you, like on the first one specifically?
It was good. You know what? You made a mention earlier of it feeling like it feeling like the 90s, and there was like I was watching this and I was like, there's a degree that feels like this was shot on like, or it felt like made for TV almost in certain instances. Yeah. Like I don't know what it was about. Like maybe it was like the camera composition or something just seemed really bland and not cinematic about it. I don't know if that's the best word, but I maybe it's just like that because it came out 2000, so there's that weird haze of blend where you're like in the early 2000s, it's still 2000s, which is it's like remnants of the fucking 90s bleeding over, right. Whether it be like fashion, lingo, technology.
The fashion for me kills me. It reminds me of like Buffy the Vampire. I say the same thing. Like when I started rewatching Buffy, I'm embarrassed to see people dressing the way we were dressing in that era with their fucking hair so cool. And just everything about Devon Sawa's greasy fucking head. Like, why can you dab your head before each scene? Why are you so greasy, son? Bro,
it's the pomade which you gotta slick it up. My cousin used to do that all the time. Just slick it up.
Which I don't do something that far from that, but it's different. It's you know what it is? It's all their hairstyles back in the day. It's like really long on the sides. It'll be like one length everywhere, which I kind of got going on, but I haven't had a haircut, and I'm not starring in a major motion fucking picture. It's like clean it up, Sawa.
That was the look, the messy bedhead shit. Because I love it now, and I've grown to look over it. But Josh Hartnett's fucking hair and the faculty used to drive me insane. I'm like, bro, brush that part down, just slick it down. Why is there that one part just like it was like Alpha grown up from the Little Rascals and shit like that? But yeah. No, the first one, it was good. The cast was good. You know, Devon Sawa, can't sing his praises enough. I think based on the rest of the movies, so I've only seen up to 3, but you know, a lot of the charm of this movie is on his shoulders and how he sells, how convincingly he sells this teenager in crisis. You know, even he handles it so well because it's like as a teenager, you don't really take things too serious. It's like everything is a fucking enhanced, but at the same time, you don't take anything seriously. And a good example of that is like at the end when he's like in that shack and shit, you know, and he's taking precautions, but it's just, I don't know. It just, he nailed the aspect of a teenager quite well. It wasn't, I'm glad you brought it up. The movie wasn't really scary. There's an air of cheese to this, you know, but at the same time, it's very endearing. And I don't know, without getting too far ahead, I feel like the second one lacks that charm. And I can't help but feel that's because the only difference is they don't have Devon Sawa, you know, so yeah, it's like a big plus to him. He really sold the role. He just played teenager so great. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Idle Hands.
Hands. It's been forever and a day. My wife, well, because she was watching it with me just last night, and she's like, "This guy looks like the guy from that Hand movie." I'm like, because it is the guy from that Hand movie. A lot of I don't know if everyone is aware, but if you're not watching the Chucky series, we've mentioned this before, but he plays like a bunch of different roles in that series for some reason. I think he's just friends with Mancini, who's the creator of Chucky. They're just tight. So he played the dad He played 2 roles in the first season. Then he came back. He's a priest in the second season. Then he's the president of the United States in the third season. And he was in Hard Eyes, which came out earlier this year. He had that small role in Hard Eyes.
Which is on Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of the best horror movies of the year so far, I would say.
This year, yes, same.
I would say my experience, I was the movie's a little bit better of a film than I even remembered. Especially like it's so, I don't know, it's like the whole franchise has like a corny, in my mind, I just think of it as being a little bit cheesy, a little bit soft. And the movie is actually it's a really clever concept if you're thinking of it just as the first one, when nobody had been introduced to the idea before. It seems a lot cooler. But like I said, it's darker. It's storming like a good chunk of the movie. It's very dark in a lot of the scenes. Even the plane crash, it's a little bit creepy. And the second one, they do lose a lot of that. But the cast is really solid. I like that they know each other, which is, again, I know we're teasing a lot about how I feel about the second one. It's annoying that they don't know each other in that one. And the kills in this one, I think the kills are really solid. But the stuff in between the kills is where it like shines much more than the second one. But overall, I thought it was a pretty goddamn good movie. You guys want to go around? Stu, I feel a little bit bad. I have you muted. Stu's got a little bit of a click going on. Maybe it's gone now. It's gone, Stu. You're fucking golden. It is gone. You are out of mute jail. So I apologize. I've had you fucking muted half of this time. But I say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna kick it off by rating it first, and then we'll zip around. I'm gonna give this one a 3.75 because I think the biggest, I wonder if you guys would agree with me, by the end of the movie, I'm kind of a little bit tuned out when it gets to the big action finish, because that's the other element that these movies have, is like there's this action element to them and all this stuff that you wouldn't get in a typical slasher movie. That I'm a little bit tuned out by the end of the movie, a little bit tuned out. I'm over it's like a 20-minute big action set at the end.
It's underwhelming.
And then the biggest thing that I didn't even notice was such an issue until I like thought about it. It's like that love story is so fucking weak. And that could have added so much to it. I was almost not even sure. Like, are they a couple? Are they this? And then at the end of the movie, she's calling him baby. And it's like, okay, I guess they're like, now they're officially official.
Apparently,
so that was
they had
they
had a bunch of deleted scenes where they were like a couple and she was pregnant with his kid. And, they used those apparently like deleted scenes, but apparently they use those ideas obviously in number 2 with the pregnancy and all that new life stuff. But yeah, I definitely thought it was like they had that little also I just love the like you guys were talking about, the early 2000s character development. Like the first time we see Ali Larter, she knows what the guy's saying on the loudspeaker in French, and she's reading like Tropic of Cancer by Henry Miller. I was like, man, they're really forcing it down our throat early here.
Yeah.
And like just the like when he goes to visit her the first time at her house, and she's grinding away, with the sparks flying, and her like, it was just I thought it was like really really early 2000s how they like try to set her up, and also like the way all the other girls looked in it, man. They looked like they were pulled straight out of Clueless or something like that. It was wild. A lot of like I saw a lot of parallels to Homegirl. Reminded me a lot of Brittany Murphy, Carter's girlfriend,
the blonde.
Yes,
totally,
yeah, man. But I don't know. It was weird that they kind of left us in the middle with that. I completely agree.
What were you saying, like?
Oh no, it was random. You made me think of the scene with when they're attending the funeral with the airplane and shit. Like, and this is what made me think of like 90s, because he's sitting there, mind you, they're at a public mourning for all these people that lost their lives on the plane at the beginning of the movie, and he's just got like the dude, the dark hair, not Devin Sawa, but one of the survivors, the jock. He's got his arms like wrapped around the Brittany Murphy chick, and it's just like, I don't know, it felt inappropriate. It's like, bro, you really need to like your shit pressed up against her ass, at the funeral. You can't hold it. It's the teenage hormones, huh?
It is. It's something that a teenager would do.
But he's sitting there saying like, I just want you to know, I don't owe you anything. Okay, Devin Sawa, I just owe it to these people to live my life.
Why is he so mad? That's one thing that's like so stupid. Why is he so you saved my life? You go fuck yourself, Devin.
Yeah.
You better not save my life again.
Yeah.
What? Why?
I love when they're at the memorial and he's like, I'm never gonna die.
Yeah. And then he's like, I control my destiny. And then you've got the guy from In Living Color, the second one. I control my destiny. It's like that makes me. I want to go through the franchise just to find out, do they do that in every movie? Is there someone that's like, I'm in control? Which is like, I guess they're trying to have it be like a theme of like destiny and fate and free will and whatever. Wait, I was about to ask you to fucking rate it, but you know, before I have you rate this, too, the kills. What was your favorite kill? We've got, just to remind you, we've got the plane crash, obviously, in the beginning. We've got the bathroom kill. We've got the blonde being hit by the bus. We have the teacher with the knives in her kitchen. We've got Stifler in the train, and then the end scene with the in Paris where old boy bites it. Stu, do you have a favorite?
I got to go Sean William Scott in the train, man. Always was like the one that shocked the shit out of me the first time. And I thought it does what this franchise does so well. It that misdirect, man. Like you get all this build up on the tracks. You think they're stuck in the car. Death isn't going to let them get out. You know, eventually they all get free, and then he's freaking out arguing. And then like at the last moment, you know, homeboy gets beheaded. So it's just a microcosm of what I love about this franchise so much. It's never necessarily where you think it's coming from, and everything's not what it seems. So
I do like that. You're like kind of like looking at sharp objects in the background, and they're teasing all these different ways that it could go. There's an overuse of liquid, the fucking liquid creeping down the floor and stuff. And they use it a little bit too much, but yeah, that is great. What about you, Link? What was your favorite one?
Featuring is Sean William Scott is in the scene briefly, but I'm gonna go with the teacher. I that has a lot of those whole where it's just like moments where she's just missing getting fucked up and shit just keeps escalating, where it's like she's got the crack in the cup, and it's just like the scene's set up where it's just like, you know, this is gonna end really badly because it's they're insinuating from the beginning there's so much shit around the house that can take her out. So by the time it like really, that's one thing I really like about the first movie as opposed to like the second and third, where it's just like it felt like a fucked up chain of events or series of unfortunate events in the first one, where it's like, damn, that was just really laid out in a fucked up way. Whereas the second and third going forward felt really forced. Like no one notices all these items just being weirdly shifted around, like by the air. Like in this one, it was like death would set something off, set something in motion, and it would lead to something catastrophic. And the second one is just like death's gonna start pushing this cart with air until it moves enough. You know, the air's like coming out of nowhere.
It's control. There's an inconsistency in the way that death works, and there's also this inconsistency even in the first movie in itself, in the way the premonitions work. Sometimes there's visions, and sometimes you're seeing shit. Oh, a train went by in the window, pigeons, whatever. And then there's other times where you're just seeing hints at things, like things that are actually there, like Todd's name being in the magazine in the little clip there. I wish they leaned into pick one or the other. I like the idea of him just seeing things that are actually happening and getting clues from his environment rather than having visions.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought that was a cooler take where he would see something like he saw the fucking. It was kind of odd. I was like, who burns their leaves on the sidewalk at that time of night in the suburbs? Like, usually it's like a pit or something. I don't know, but that was a cool indicator. Something that just felt really lame in the second one. It was just the premonition. When's the premonition gonna happen? But
it felt like they used it to like fix plot holes. Like when she came out and she was like, "Wait a minute, the pregnant lady wasn't going to be in the accident in the first place." It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, okay, all of a sudden we're going. You're correcting yourself and shit now. It was just like
convenience.
They're like, wait, what did we do earlier in the movie? Son of a bitch, we already shot that. All right, well, let's figure some shit out. I will go with. I think the teacher is maybe my favorite too, just because it's the only one really with blood, a decent amount of blood. When old girl gets hit by the bus, there's blood splatter. But this one, it actually kind of looks like a slasher kill too, because there's all the blood, and then he's got the knife at the end of it, and it kind of
that always bothered me because I'm like, bro, even as a kid, I knew about handprints, and I was like, she's dead. What are you?
And if you are gonna,
yeah,
if you are gonna pick it up, don't hold it like a fucking masked serial killer. Maybe like just like, oh, get it out of her and set it aside. Not, what do I do with this thing?
grip it like a wild.
The opening scene is really well done and intense. You know, I want to look at what was the budget for this. The budget. Oh, come on! You can't be right there where you're supposed to be.
Everything when the plane exploded was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't get that scene in too many. It had a budget of $23 million and it made 113 million. So obviously, it was huge at the time. I did want to mention Sean William Scott, who I want to call Sean William Penn. Definitely not that guy. I was like, first of all, I'm like, oh, this must have came out before American Pie, because he would have a bigger role. But this did come out a year after American Pie. But I looked into it. I'm pretty sure like they were making this movie before American Pie had hit, or else they would have been like, switch, like Stifler, you're the lead or you're the main dick. Like he was probably the least prominent character, right? Yes, he would have been a much better Carter.
Oh yeah, that I remember seeing this and just being like, because like you said, because American Pie was, I think it's kind of been lost to time how huge that movie was.
Oh yeah, so the biggest, crazy influential.
Yes, but to see him because as a kid, I'm like, oh, this dude. I'm thinking he's like Stifler was like the dude in American Pie. So I'd seen American Pie. I saw these around the same time, but in chronological order. I did see a Pie first. So to see him in this role, I thought it was so jarring because he's the complete opposite. You know, he's very timid and shy and kind and this and there's none of that as Stifler.
He pretty much plays Stifler in every role after that. You know what I mean? From now on, he's Stifler for like a decade and a half, which is probably where he belongs.
Some good cameos for a lot of good comedies, by the way. Just he was in Righteous Gemstones. I was just talking to you guys about that. That's
I was noting how like much better looking he is than everybody in the cast. I'm like, that's a movie star. All the rest of you, like, get your shit together. Like, it really stands out, like how much better looking he is than everybody. But all right, so again, back to the
Devon Sawa's haircut really personal, bro.
I really did. It bugged me. It really does, and it bugs me in all movies of this era. It's not just him. It's Xander and Buffy and everybody. It's just like this bushy hair on the side. But all right, so again, I gave it a 3.75. Where are you landing on the first one, Big Stu?
I gotta go 4.25, man. It's definitely got its flaws, but just for what it meant to me, nostalgia wise, and just the joy I get on rewatch, 4.25.
Hell yeah. And Missing Link, where you at on it?
I was leaning towards like a 3.75, but I'll bump it up to a 4 just to be a different stickler. And you know, it's somewhat iconic. You know, it's like people, if they haven't seen it, they've at least heard about the premise or they've seen one of these kill set pieces. You know, it's
and everybody our age has seen it. Nobody missed it when it came out. You know what I mean? Our generation. Yeah. Everybody.
It's almost like, how's this idea not been? I don't know. It's crazy that, you know, you saw a slew of different slashers and different people putting on masks and going having different reasons to kill, but an ominous death movie, the only one I can really think of that could compare to this, maybe I haven't seen enough, but is the monkey shit that came out recently. Like, it's like a random chain of events. And
you know what's funny? I kind of forgot about this till now. The Johnny Recap giving it a 4.5. Old hat now, but iconic and original back then. I might be being a little bit harsh on it with my 3.75, but anyway, the Omen franchise there's a lot of. I remember being really taken aback, especially like part 2 and on. They really I was calling them Final Destination type kills when I reviewed them before, because it is a lot of that omens, these accidents happening and Rube Goldberg type things that lead to deaths. And I wonder if like they were conscious of that at all when they were making these movies.
I could see that. I could see them being influenced by something like that. Yeah, because I haven't seen the first one in a while, but didn't we cover? No, I'm thinking of
The First Omen.
Do we? That was
the newest one called The First
Okay.
Omen. You and I did that together. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even
that had
the first
a lot
one,
of
the
that.
second one, really late. I was expecting more of that in the newest one, but yes, there is some of that. I wanted there to be a lot more. But all right, man. All right. So, like I said, I might be being a little bit harsh. 4.5, 4.25 from you, Stu? 4.5?
4.25, yeah.
All right, and then Lick gives us a 4. I gave it a 3.75. In the chat, we got a 4.5 from Johnny. Recaps. You can go sub up to him, and let us dive into Final Destination 2, which came out. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I think just a year, maybe 2 years later. Yeah, Final Destination 2 came out 3 years later. This one directed by the guy that did Snakes on a Plane, which I've somehow never seen. Never seen Snakes on a Plane. David R. Ellis. He did this one, and then he came back, and I think he did the 5th one. Yeah, he came back and he did the 5th one.
Wow.
So, as I said at the beginning of this, when I think about this franchise, and I feel like when most people think about this franchise, they think about the opening scene to this, the highway crash scene. It's the one that gets referenced the most. It's the one, like, I'm not on a plane very often. You know what I mean? I don't do a hell of a lot of flying, but I'm on the highway, you know what I mean, at least a handful of times a week. And I think most of us are. We come by more log trucks than we do flying around in airplanes, or at least a lot of us do. So it's one that's constantly being referenced, constantly being memed. It actually does happen quite a bit, scarily enough, especially in areas where there are a lot of logging trucks zipping around. Like, this shit definitely does happen. And right off the bat, it's the atmosphere is not there. Like, this movie opens up, it's in the daylight. We've got the happy campers. It should have been raining on that highway and storming. Maybe it would have been harder to film, but they could have went ahead and made it feel like a horror movie. Yeah. And just my quick review of the whole fucking thing is the kills are pretty great. It's got fantastic kills, but in between that, I think it sucks. I was really taken aback by how much I did not like these characters. And just how silly it was. Like, hey, you guys all got backed up behind this crash and you didn't die. We better bring you into the police station. It's like, wow, what? That's so fucking. That would never happen in a billion years. And the fact that they don't know each other just takes away so much from the movie and the believability that they're all going to band together to prevent this thing that maybe is happening. But I don't know. I found it a struggle between the kills. Kills are great, but other than that, I was like, wow, it's a lot worse. I thought it was a lot worse than the first one.
Definitely 2000s.
Yeah,
got that element. I feel you there. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this first one, it's like even the sense that it's like they're teenagers. It's easier for the idea of a group of teenagers to band together under an extreme circumstance.
Right, that's a good point too.
And this one, you got adults. You got some people who are just being stupid in this movie. Like, no, I've seen all this crazy shit that's going to happen. I still don't believe you. I'm going to live my own life on my own terms. And, it's like, okay, you just go get killed then, cannon fodder. But, but there's nothing. There was no, even bringing back Allie. Okay, that's something that pissed me off. And because in the first one, they insinuate that the premonition of the power has been passed from Devon Sawa to Allie Larder. And she's got the power now, and then the second one, she's in the movie, but she doesn't have the power no more. She's just part of the crew. I don't know. She's just there.
It's almost like there isn't necessarily a power. It's just that anyone can do it. Keep an eye out for the signs. So it's like it lacks consistency in that.
Yeah.
And I thought she was the worst.
She banded them all together and handed out the cell phones, and she's like, she's gonna be like the main call center, and they're gonna, anytime she has a vision or a premonition, they're gonna reach out like that. I completely agree with you about the characters, though. They were very unlikable. It was a struggle to connect with them. When we did get moments with them, it was kind of bizarre. With that one scene with Homeboy in the elevator where he takes off his boot and he's just making dude uncomfortable for no reason.
Yeah,
I just don't know what that's. I just don't. That was just a bizarre ass scene to me. It just made me not like the dude or connect with him even more. And I felt like, that was a missed opportunity. You could have, at least with a couple of these characters, given us something more to be invested in. So the deaths could have hit a little bit more. But I agree, the deaths in this one though were, man,
Great.
It's because you didn't want to see, like, to reinforce them being shit. You didn't want, like, at least even though they're cheesy, in the high school one, there's some redeeming qualities about all the characters. Like, they're not pieces of shit. Some of them are having real responses to this. Like, some are like, the hell, and some are kind of a little bit more mellow about it. But in this one, everyone's a fucking asshat. The drug dealer dude's an asshat. The blonde dude that gets killed at the beginning that won the lottery is an asshat. The Kratos dude from was it Living Single? Played the original
Yes,
Kratos God of War.
bro.
He was an asshat to a degree. The mom with the son was an asshat.
He's the only black dude up to the point in this franchise, and he's the only one that just happens to whip out a fucking gun at one point and start waving it around at people. It's like, okay, all right, let's tone it down a bit.
2000s, baby. But so it's like, it's not like the stakes were ever there to where it's like, oh no, I hope they don't die because they're kind of cool. It's like when they all met there, and it's like, fucking get rid of them because they're all.
That's exactly what I've heard about the newest one. The only thing that I've heard is that it's solid, it's getting good reviews, and that you actually care about the characters, which is something that I want to see how they do it. I really want to see that tone balance, like how funny it is. Which I will say, like, this one had some of my favorite kills. I've told you guys before, like, my favorite reaction to have from a kill is like, I want that, and this franchise is perfect for those. And when the girl gets the airbag to her face and then back to the PVC pipe, that gave me that reaction. I didn't see it coming. I was like, oh, let
me turn on silent mode for you, man.
Yeah. That would be great. Actually, I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Smoking how weird is it how much it stands out when people smoke in movies now? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I know almost nobody that still smokes cigarettes under the age of like 50.
Yes.
Like, I know a couple older folks,
True.
a lot of vapors, but it's like weird to see smoking indoors, like smoking in hospitals, doing surgery and shit. Different era.
That's in what was it? What year did it pass that? Was it like the end of the 2000s when you weren't allowed to smoke in bars anymore? Like 2009, 2008 around there?
I was like probably 25 or something, so mid 2000s, yeah, somewhere around there. At least in Illinois. I don't know if that was a countrywide thing.
But it's just crazy how that was almost like a staple. Like, it's crazy how there's a generation who weren't used to growing up with a smoking section in bars or, in restaurants or something like that. Like that's a complete non-factor to that.
That was a joke I used to make up until like 5 years ago. We'd walk into a restaurant, I'd be like, smoking, please. And they'd be like, they would look at me like, oh, we don't do that. But yeah, that was smoking or non-smoking.
Yes, that was it. Yep.
That was the thing. AJ Cook was smoking. Giggity. I don't get it. I don't know who AJ Cook is or what he has to do with giggity, but I like it. Is
she the main chick?
I wonder if she was. That would make a lot of fucking sense. Let us see. AJ Cook, yes. She's all right.
Yeah, it's really not. The lookers don't really start coming until
her acting side. And Allie Larder, this is the thing, like the girl from the first one, the girlfriend, she was good at being that role, being this high school chick and being this like pretty normal person. In this, she's like a superhero and she's like this badass. And I thought she was terrible. I thought her and the lead were pretty fucking bad. Did you guys know who the cop was? He was Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen in The Adventures of Lois and Clark, the Superman show from the 90s. He played Jimmy Olsen.
No shit.
And he was bad too. He's probably better at being Jimmy Olsen. I think
he was in Death Proof. He had a cameo in one of those movies. The cop that was driving around the pregnant lady. Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
Michael Landis. Oh, that cop. You're talking. Yeah, you're thinking of a different cop. I'm talking about the main dude, the suave looking guy.
The one that's fucking roughing up. You know what caught me up, took me back was when he's like, they're in this running. That's another thing that's 2000s, 90s, where people just could randomly enter a hospital, go to any point you want without getting checked. Right. Oh, they don't have any doctor's gear on. They're good. Let them go. They run in the hospital and like this doctor's doing her job. Like, hey, who are you, randos? And he just grabs her by the fucking arm, slams her against the wall. Police business, bitch. Calm down, bro. Like, it's not that serious.
Dude, another thing that strikes me as odd. It's just like the way that it's filmed. And I guess it has to happen. Of just how there'll be this sense of community Like in the third one, they're standing in line at a roller coaster, and the amount of interactions that people have in that line, or driving down a highway, and how like you feel like you know everybody, and everyone's looking at each other and reacting to each other.
Yeah,
they have to do that, but it is fucking silly.
That caught me off guard too.
She's made her appearance. Madison has arrived. No, go ahead.
Where that sense of community though, where she's like the dude smoking the joint at the beginning, and he like flicks it on that lady's windshield, and he's just like, and she's like, I won't say anything, and it's just like, come on, that's not like all this communication
exactly
shit going on. So.
That's the specific scene that made me think about it. She's gonna recognize the cop. She's gonna get it. Everything, even like you're gonna be able to flick a joint. It's gonna do that.
Right.
I mean, a joint.
Yeah, I got you.
I like how Maddie looked at the camera as soon as she covered her ears. You covered her ears.
What you doing? So Link, I'm going to send it to you for this one because I think I sent it to Big Stu Pot last time. But let's talk about the kills in this one. So running through them real quick. Obviously, the interstate crash, super fucking iconic, iconic. Really, really, really well done. And just again, like you don't see scenes like that in a horror movie that involve that amount of coordination, explosives, and car. You know, it's just it makes it stand out in this genre. But then after that, we have the lottery guy. Who the house fire gets the ladder through the eye. We've got the old boy going to the dentist with the pigeon and the glass falling outside. We got the woman being decapitated by the elevator. We have the one I mentioned, the airbag PVC pipe, and the cokehead guy who's wearing a Grateful Dead ring. I bet they didn't know what that was, but he does not look like a deadhead.
This one had some good kills.
Yeah. You know what was your favorite? What do you want to highlight?
I liked how everything was drawn out with it. The lottery dude reminded me of the teacher from the first one, where it's like oh, okay, he's gonna get and he almost makes it too, you know. And then it's like the ladder. I love that scene. It still gets me because it got me on the rewatch where it falls and it stops, and he's like, oh, I'm like, oh, you lucky son of a bitch, you know. And then it ends up impaling him anyways. But then
did you catch how it said "I" on the fridge? Did you guys catch that? One of the magnets falls off into his Chinese food, and on the fridge, not like once that magnet falls off, it says "I," and then that's where he got killed. Is the ladder through the eye?
Oh no!
I see what you did there.
Oh shit!
I did like it's between that and the dude who gets the drug dealer, because I just thought that was gnarly. Just getting it reminded me of the Cube where. And Resident Evil, the first one, you know. Right,
there's a handful of kills out there like that where someone sliced in half. They look, it's very cartoonish. They'll look at the camera, then their body will slide apart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Stu?
Oh man, I was gonna say the airbag kill, but you stole it from me. Though, just the suddenness, that one is just so shocking, and you never really get over it. Because it's like you're kind of in that conversation and laughing with them, and then it's just like it just catches you so off guard. Dude, the premonition kill when the log coming through the car, and it's just like all that red, it's blood and guts. It just looks so beautiful. That image has never lost my mind since like the first time I laid eyes on it. And just I love watching people's. I've gone down the rabbit hole of just watching people's reaction videos to that pile up, like for the first time, or like a friend introducing it to a friend. It's just, it just like, I love being like, it was one of those things I love showing my daughter for the first time, just watching somebody like you think can't get any worse. And here comes like death through the flames or death by truck or what have you. So like that, that opening sequence and all the different creative ways they find to like really off somebody was wild. But dude, I gotta say, homeboy who won I think the one that takes the kick is homeboy who won the lotto, because it's another one of those misdirects. You constantly think it's gonna be this or that, and he gets away, and then like you think he's finally gonna like make it this time, and then like when it finally comes, and just the eye looked gnarly as hell.
The spaghetti, dude. I love that he slips on the spaghetti because that's an asshole move. You're just gonna throw out your spaghetti out the window. That kind of ties it all together. Wouldn't it be fun to make these kills? Like these would be some of the funnest movies to sit down and like write the kill.
Oh yeah,
how it would happen.
how can we lay this out? It did bother me. That's like part of my OCD, whereas he didn't fucking. It's like not only did you do that lazy shit where you throw it out on the street instead of the garbage, you didn't even clean it. There was still noodles stuck on that shit when he started to like, bro, you just won the lottery. You're living that fucking gnarly. Like that's
I know.
savage.
I love all the girls calling like, "Hey, just seeing how you're doing, Mr. Lucky."
I heard you got lucky. I miss you.
The thing
I was geeking. He had the iMac. That was like a sign of the times. I was like, he's got the
Oh
iMac.
yes.
I wonder if it was an iMac because he's gonna die with his eye. That's funny. There was still. I know, dude. That was probably because there's not a lot of ick factor in these movies. That might have been the biggest gross thing.
I was like, bro, you're gonna eat off that?
The day old noodle. Oh my god, Madison. We're not at a rave. We are not at a rave. I guess we are. Excuse me. Yeah, happy birthday. You go. I got a gift. I don't know. It's Dremel toys, tools. All right. So, just the other bit that I wanted to mention is in the dentist. The whole thing leading up to he doesn't die at the dentist office at all, but when he gets that thing from the model falling into his throat. Hold on, this is driving me nuts. All right, that's
dude.
Good.
Yeah, that was the slow creeping dread in that scene.
And yeah, I mean, these movies do their job though effectively, where it's just like, I will say, I do remember distinctly being extra careful and paranoid after I for the first time watching these movies. Like, let me make sure the cup is not hanging up the counter, everything's in its place, and
that's what they do their best at. Like these are realistic things that could happen. Death literally could be lurking around any corner.
What was that dentist on though, bro? He had him half in, half out, like laughing gas. Like he was all over the fucking place.
I love the woman's reaction. When they come out and she pulls the thing out of his mouth, like, "Hey, how's Billy doing in there?" Like just to look at her face was. But all right, let us go around.
That scene reminded me real quick. I know both of y'all got kids, so you've seen Finding Nemo. Did that scene remind you of the Finding Nemo dentist scene a little bit?
Yeah.
Like I definitely caught echoes one way or the other. I don't know how.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Oh shit. What am I doing? Sorry, fellas. Bam. All right, before we rate this thing, tell you what we're doing next Wednesday. This one is Link's pick. Another one. I have not seen this movie. I've always heard about it. I've been meaning to watch it forever. It is out there streaming free on a bunch of different platforms. So go check it out. Eden Lake, directed by James Watkin, who did Speak No Evil, the remake. But again, Link's pick's supposed to be extra bleak. Is it like Australian? Does it take place in Australia?
UK. Yeah, the UK movie.
Oh, okay. All right. So super looking forward to that. Stu, have you seen it?
Oh no, looking forward to it.
Awesome. This one from 2008.
What's the vampire from Sinners? The main, the Rennick. He plays like the main dude, and it's like the gang too. So it's interesting to see.
Oh, the white guy, the main.
Yeah, the main bad dude. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Hell yeah.
And then this Sunday, man, really excited about this. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine that I did enjoy that Fear Street trilogy that Netflix did a couple years ago. So they have a brand new one coming out on Friday. So Link and I will be talking about that on Sunday, along with Hell of a Summer, the Finn Wolfhard directed flick, the kid from Stranger Things. Supposed to be quite a good, fun, like slasher horror comedy, and both of them kind of like throwback slashers. So really looking forward to those.
Oh yeah.
And let us get out of here with a rating.
I really want to see Hell of a Summer.
Same, dude. Well, where you at on it, Stu? What are you going to give Final Destination 2?
Oh man, I got to give it I'm going to match it with number one and give it a 4.25 on the kills. Just on the kills alone, I thought and one of the all-time opening sequences, like you said, it's synonymous with the franchise itself when you think about it. So 4.25 for me. And yeah, this one was so much fun to revisit again, dude.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it more. I think I watched them both in a row, and I think that kind of hurt my score, just my enjoyment of it.
I watched two and then went back and watched one.
Oh, that was smart. Because you know what, they go through all those beats, like, we got to figure out what the fuck is going on, and we all know exactly what's going on. So it's like,
Right.
skip all that. You don't give us a quick
Right.
explanation. Have Candyman swoop in, tell us real quick, and then skedaddle. But where you at on it, Link? 4.0 from Johnny Recap. 4.25 from Big Stu.
It's slightly lower for me. I'll go 3.75 because even though they do have some great kills, but beyond that, I don't remember finding the character so insufferable in earlier watches. Maybe it's just become a little older and pretentious, or just I don't know. But it's just I don't remember being like I was so ready for these. I was like, okay, go get killed. If you want to leave, Go ahead. It's your life. Yes, you go on.
I think there was just more douchebags in the world at that time.
Yeah.
More people being openly douchey, that it just didn't seem that fucking douchey at the time. Because all those movies have it from that era. There's always some bro being like, oh my, like you can't believe how they're acting. It's almost like they were aware of it though. Like everything. Think of like Cabin Fever. There's like, I don't know, just all the movies of that era. There's all these insufferable characters. But sorry.
And then beyond that, like the whole, I found the premonition injects super annoying. They're like we were saying, lacked consistency. It just uses plot devices pretty much. Like, let's let the audience know that's not done. Premonition. Right. It just felt lazy, and it's like in the first one, they weren't really trying to go out. It's like they were trying to lay out a little bit of lore, but it's like a guessing game at the same time. This one, they're trying to give like a explicit or exact rules, to a degree, and it never really landed. And they spent a good portion of the movie trying to lay out some sort of rules.
Right. I guess you're right. That is what it is. Like they were telling us some stuff that we didn't know. Like, oh, it goes backwards this time. Yeah, but it just wasn't cool. It wasn't cool enough to spend all that time on.
But
and it took itself too seriously. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were very serious in between, which I guess the first one was too, but somehow they got that balance better.
They had it, Devin Sawa.
Yeah, no, it seemed a little bit too much at times too.
But this is it's fun. It's lacking that air of atmosphere that the first one had. So it's like that's why I go it's a strong 3.75.
Hell yeah. I get last one at 3.75. I'm gonna go down to a 3.25 from this one. Again, watching them back to back, that might have hurt it. But all the things that we've mentioned this whole time, I was disappointed that I thought it could have been way better. Again, why I'm dying to see this newest one that has such high ratings. It's like I want to see what is this Final Destination movie that they've really nailed it. But Johnny Recaps, if you've happened to see it,
what's the general premise of this one? What's the Bloodlines theme?
The only thing that I know is like what I said earlier is they take it back to I think 1968, some event in 68 where like the original sin, kind of where death got thrown off course, and that supposedly the movies all kind of come from that event right there. Other than that, I don't know.
It sounds like they're doing the It type of thing where they're going to connect children and adults or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's like not to say too much in the trailer. I seen that it's like that they're following a family that essentially is not supposed to be like they were supposed to have. They spawn generations, but the original person was supposed to die back in the 60s. So there's a whole line of family members that aren't
right. Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
And so they're trying to they'll tie that into.
Already that sounds promising because of the family element. It's not just a group of friends, it's actual family members. Bloodlines. That's the title of it. So Final Destination Bloodlines. That makes sense.
You can do all sorts of cool things with like genetics and all
people from that family.
Right. Everybody dies. One lives, but like it turns out you were the father. Like, oh shit.
You were adopted.
You were adopted. You live. Yeah. All right. So
that's a great final twist, bro.
Sunday. Oh, yeah. And then this is worth pointing out. We are less than a month away. Johnny, are you in here? You're invited to this, Johnny. I need an extra.
Hell yeah.
We've got my buddy Eric, who has joined us for the last one. It's his birthday. He's not going to make it, so I have an open spot for you, Johnny Recaps, and I think you would be a welcome addition to the crew for this one because you probably know the trivia really, really well. So I think that would be awesome if you could make it. Johnny, hit me up, man, if you want to do this. We're doing it on Friday the 13th. We've been going each Friday the 13th, and we review a new one going in order. We're on our fourth one. We play a little trivia. It's honestly like the shows that I look forward to most in the year.
It's
Pretty
always
much
fun.
because
Yeah.
Stu hasn't made the last couple. So they've
Wow,
been,
what are we,
they've
chopped liver? Jesus Christ.
Link was there at the last one. You've been working on Fridays, so you haven't been.
So
And
Jeff,
you know what? I'm tired of winning all these trivia every single time. Okay, so I need some competition here. No, I've never.
Man, I'm not going to be
but
competition
one
for
day.
you, bro. Yeah, we need Johnny in there.
I have
Johnny
one, yeah.
Johnny, I think I like deleted my X. I don't even use it. I just had it up there for a second. I never really used the account, but that's good to know. Just email me at shane.verno.donovan@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram at blood.splatter.chatter. But yeah, hit me up, get in contact with me. That would be cool if you could make it for that one. But again, Eden Lake next Wednesday. Stu, you got anything special happening?
Nah, man. Laptop and phone went out in consecutive days last week, so your boy is climbing back up that hill. But yeah, soon enough, I'll be making new content again. So, but yeah, Ink and Insights tonight on 9-panel grid. We're going to be doing our Fix the Eisner show, doing our own Eisner nomination. So really looking forward to that.
Oh, that's
so check that
cool.
out. Yeah,
that's
man.
cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, Link, you got anything special going on? Any parting words? You want PCP? Not the drug. The YouTube channel.
Yeah, not today, but no, yeah. I think Robbie's doing Ninja Scroll this Monday. I'll be there for that. And then I'll be back here Sunday, of course, for our double feature, and then Wednesday. You know, so Sunday, Monday, Wednesday.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll be doing something.
Hell yeah. Madison is giving me another present, and this time it's a paintbrush. It's a paintbrush, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Nice.
I appreciate that. Very, very nice. All right, you guys are the shit, man. I really appreciate you guys in the chat. This kid is destroying my room, so we got to get up out of here. We will see you next time.